Well, hello everybody, and welcome on into another Mead Quest. Mead Quest Monday with Virtek. And sorry about the technical difficulties while starting up. Apparently my computer needed a quick little refresh. So I had to power it down, power it up, and now she's running just fine. Hey, okay, Hidden Dagger says, hey bud, okay, gonna lurk since I have no game to play and watch some TV. Have a good stream. Why, thank you very much, friend. Thank you for stopping by and thank you so much for the lurk. It's definitely appreciated. You have yourself a fantastic evening of TV. Hope everybody else is doing alright tonight, having a good night, enjoying what has been going on. And thank you, Chibi, by the way, for keeping people company whilst I stressed out about this whole situation. This is why I treasure this woman. She's amazing, in case nobody knows this. But today, as the per usual, since there's no Ashes to play, and I feel like playing a game while talking to people, I'm going to be playing some Hogwarts and seeing if I can wizard some wizardy stuff while chatting Ashes. If you have anything you wish to chat about, feel free to bring it on up, and we will absolutely derail. I will pause the game if need be. And I do see there were some people that stopped in and said hi. I saw some Thogli. I saw some Oracle, and I saw Nomad Tam. By the way, one of these days you're going to be live when we finish up one of our shows, and we're going to raid over to you. Because every time, because I have this habit, right? I always lurk every single person that we're friends with on Twitch. If we know you, we have... Oh, and speaking of which, there's someone else to add to the lurk list. There it is. Yeah, I'm always lurking even when I'm streaming. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have six tabs open lurking people. And you know what's funny, Nomad, is that every once in a while, when I have 6 or 7 tabs open and I'm lurking people, I will end my stream and I'll look over and a bunch of them ended up on your stream. Your stream had already ended, so all of them had ended by the time I wrapped up. But yeah, it'll turn out that like 6 tabs will end up over on your channel. So people know you, people have rated you. We have not had the pleasure. One of these days though. You've been iterating? Good. Trying to do a refresh on the channel? Refresh on like your programming altogether, or just how it looks and how it functions? Alright, let me go ahead and jump on to some Virtek Telemon, my fantastical wizardy buddy. Too many things, can't even keep up. Hey, that's fine. You know, we iterate all the time. Mainly because we always feel like we need to keep improving, or else we're gonna fall behind. Yeah, gonna play some Harry Potter. But you know, and welcome in, by the way there, Toph. Welcome in to... Yeah, exactly. But yeah, welcome into Mead Quest. This started off as a morning thing and it was Coffee Quest. But then I'm doing it at night, so it's Mead Quest. I don't have mead, but I do have a very interesting and delicious concoction here. Mixed myself some Coca-Cola, some cherry juice that I usually use for making old fashions, and a little bit of whiskey and a little bit of cinnamon whiskey, and it's actually pretty darn delicious for a mixed cocktail involving soda. It's not my usual go-to, but I wanted to mix it up. But yeah, so since I don't have Ashes to play, I don't have an Alpha 2 right here running around, I'm gonna play stuff that's fun and you know, chat whatever comes up. Speaking of which, what do you folks think we're gonna hear about on the next dev live stream? You think it's gonna be just the server mesh tech, or do you think there's some other stuff outside of what they've talked about? Because they did say it would be worth the wait. It makes me wonder if they delayed it because of technical issues, or if they delayed it because they said, you know what would be cool? What if we could get this ready too? We can show off a bunch of things. Bard, hey, that could definitely be one. People would be so psyched up. That would probably be stream of the year. everybody would absolutely freak out, and I'd put money on everybody voting that as stream of the year. They did some server mesh tech for the nerd out peoples, and then they also dropped the bard for pretty much everybody as like the we didn't tell you we were planning this afterthought. Oh, where am I even going? What am I doing here? It's been so long since I opened this up. Okay, I'm going up there. I may as well make it quicker and just fast travel up there. Now the question is also, do you think they're going to give an Alpha 2 date? Speaking of which. Or do you think they're going to at least release a month, or do you think they're going to still leave us hanging? Steven would have fully gotten rid of his cough. Yeah, maybe he had a coffindectomy. Had the cough removed. Think hanging? Okay, okay. You're not the first person I've heard say that. I'm hoping what they do is they at least release, you know, a month. Because that's at least some kind of information, right? But you know, never know. Never know. They might drop a whole date, or they might say, hey, next stream we'll have a date for you. Yeah, August they'll tell us September 30th. It's quite possible. Quite possible. And that's one of my, I have my fingers crossed theories, is September 30th. And so, yeah, I actually have my fingers crossed for that date. Believe it or not. Because that would mean, to me anyway, that for one, they're kind of taking as long as possible to get it as polished as possible, because for one, introducing it to the world is going to be something big, as the Alpha 2, because it's going to be such a huge change. Just speaking from the experience we had in Alpha 1, and then the experience that we had when we were doing the node war testing, that we were allowed to talk about. Thank you, Intrepid, for that, because that's been a blast to actually talk to people about. The difference in pretty much everything about the game is night and day. So it's almost like unveiling a whole new game, and for that to go well is going to be vitally important. I know it'll upset some people, but I'm not saying they should, or that this is planned, or that this is like anything, or that, you know, whatever. But if they did come out and say, hey, you know what, we actually want to wait another month, we want to kick it into the first month of Q4, I would not even be upset. I know a lot of people would, but I would not, because that first release of Alpha 2 to the world is going to be, it's going to be a big splash in the pan, as they say. So I want it to go well. I want it to go really well. You'd be okay with that too? Wish there was a delay, let's see. Oh yeah. Bar back. You killing me. Throwing stuff out there. Say, you'd be okay with that too? You were there for the Alpha 1 delays, it was worth it? Yeah, same thing. And Gundle, hello. Actually, I saw that you sent me a message earlier and I just have not yet responded. I do apologize. Been busy. I worked all the way up until, like, not too long before the stream, but I had to, like, relax the brain and just escape for a minute before the stream. But I'll get back to you for sure. And you wouldn't be upset if they delayed it. Still want a date that can be marked down and held to. It would be nice. It would be nice. What race will I play in Ashes? Oh my gosh, Shelf. I'm locked in. My main is going to be a Vec. My main is going to be a Vec. It's the first time that I have seen a game or even any lore where there was a troll-like / orc-related race that was like deeply intelligent and going after literally reading the stars and being, you know, spiritual with it is what it seems like. And that to me is kind of fascinating. So I really want to know about the lore. And I think one of the best ways to find out about it is to play one, right? And I mean, they look pretty cool. Yeah. And I really hope they get a bonus for whatever the constellation stuff does. I hope we get a bonus for it, as you know, living the life of a Vec. Let's say, and you're gonna be a Niqua trickster. That's awesome. That's awesome. See, you know what? One of these days I need to sit down and I need to remember, or like just memorize flat out, all of the classes, all of the combinations of archetypes that build all the classes, because I haven't really tried to memorize any of them because there are so many. It was just kind of the last thing on my mind. I think maybe my brain was having a strike because of the tank name, the tank archetype. It was on strike and says, no, I don't want to remember any of these class names because tank needs to be changed first. I mean, I jest, but yeah. It's just 64 of them. I can't recall any game that I've ever played that had that much of a variety of actual boxed in names of variants of classes. 64 of them. That's been it. And I know somebody said, what was it? Was it Arcade that had like three classes you could mix to create your own? I never played Arcade. I didn't play Lineage either. And I'm pretty sure it was one of those two people were talking about. One of those two had that like 3 class combination thing, and I didn't play it, and I kind of wish I had experienced it just to see what it was all about, but at the same time, by the time I heard of Lineage 2, I saw it as a mobile game on your phone, and I said, no, I'm not going to touch a mobile game, not for an MMO, and so I just completely blacked out any talk of Lineage 2. And Arcade, by the time I heard of it, it was pay to win, and people were just doing more complaining about it than anything, and I said, yeah, no. But hearing people talk about it now, I kind of wish I had dove into both of them. It sounded like they were a good ride. And Dio says, as long as it's 2024, you won't be mad. That's kind of the boat I'm in, to be honest. Is as long as it's this year, I'll be happy. And Nomad, Vec's gonna be your alt. Yeah, Vec's gonna be my primary. We'll see what happens. We'll see what I do with an alt. I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I know I want to play a cleric for sure. I have to be a cleric, and I'd really love to try out the bard just because I haven't had a game that's let you be an actual support class without it just being tacked on to like a DPS or a healer or whatever, but being legitimately that's a support class. That's fantastic. Let's see, Gundel says, I want to see what the racial augments will be, and then I'll make my choice, but I usually lean humans or elves. Hey, that's fine. Boring is boring to some people. Boring is not boring to everybody, because, I mean, it's what you like, it's what you go comfy with, it's what you do. Like, to be honest, in D&D, I usually end up gravitating towards being a tiefling in every one of them, including BG3. I ended up being a tiefling in that too. Just, I don't know. I really like this race, and so I wanted to play tiefling. But yeah, I'm really curious to see what the actual augments are for any of them, really. To see what they do, see how they look when it comes to adding like visual effects to your skills. That's gonna be wild. That's gonna be wild. See, most of the classes in AA were viable though, or weren't viable. Okay, and that would make sense if you take 3 classes. Even if you start with 5, I mean that's 5 times 5 times 5. That is 125 classes in the end. Like the 125 combinations. Like how bananas is that? There's got to be some things that they just didn't catch and didn't test and didn't quite get nailed down to being balanced or proper. And you're gonna say, oh, branchlers ain't boring. I mean, that's true. That's true. That is kind of a unique take. And by kind of, I mean, I think, oddly enough, the funny thing is, I think Chibi is the only person I have heard of before Ashes that had an elf with antlers of any kind, because she in one of our D&D campaigns made a character that was absolutely obsessed with jackalopes, and so she always wore a headband that had antlers on it. And if I recall correctly, there was something about she just believed she always had to have it, as that was like this, she thought that was the source for her magic or something. I'll let her speak to it if she's listening and watching. but it was something adorably cute like that. And yeah, her character was absolutely obsessed with jackalopes, and so she wore antlers the entire time, and it was great. Yeah, Ash has heard her call, exactly, Onsington, exactly. So and yeah, Toph, there are still augments. Let me see. Let me pull this up here. Ashes of Creation wiki. Now I know that they're almost mainly visual augments at this point, if I recall correctly. At the beginning, they were supposed to be impacting. They were like the seed for your stats, and then your stats would grow from there. But I think they decided they didn't want to lock anybody into certain races for certain classes and certain raid composition. They wanted people to be able to really freely choose, so they dialed it back. And I know there was talk of making them just visual flavored, and yeah, backgrounds will deal with the seeds for stats. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Yeah, racial augments. Yeah, they affect how the ability works and can also apply cosmetic effects. Now I can't watch it right now, but there was a live stream that talked about it. But yeah, racial influence on nodes, etc., etc. But yeah, it looks like it's largely just visual, which I mean I'm okay with. I'm curious to see how it's going to affect everything. Like, let's say on the warrior reveal, right? There was the one skill where there were these giant orange slashes. If you do a racial augment on there, does it change the color of the orange, or does it add a glow to it, or does it make the entire ability's attack look different? With 64 classes and 9 races, I would imagine that it's probably just going to be changing colors. But even that is almost questionable, because you still have to have an ability visual effect identity for every class, right? So that you know, like that's a warrior skill versus tank or mage, or then again, Ashes might not even worry about it too much, right? And there's a potential they might not even worry about that. Let's see, yeah, Pally, yeah, it's definitely a very unique obsession, by the way. Let's see, Pirate, our dream come true for her, absolutely, Dio. AOC Wiki is a godsend. You have no idea, Pally, no idea. We rely on the wiki so hard. Like there's just the fact that, you know, being in PI, like we need to make sure that like whatever we've heard is actually publicly released. 999 times out of 1,000 it is. Before we talk about it, because you know they talk about it a lot. they put pretty much all the info out there, right? But outside of that, just it's impossible to remember everything and how many things changed over time and when they changed and what they changed to. Like there's gonna be something you miss no matter how hard you pay attention. Actually sad they went background wise rather than racial, but I'm a D&D fan and old school MMO player, so I get the reason they moved away from it. Yeah, I mean, I figure you can always choose a race for visual and lore reasons, right? And then your background is what you did with your life, which in theory should be what influences how you develop into an archetype. And in my mind, it does make sense. I'm kind of glad they went with that route too, because it does kind of fit in and it gives you a lot more flexibility while also giving you the same decisions to make, just in a different manner that feels better in my mind. And Praise Lex. I think Lex still runs it. Yeah. Lex still runs it. There's actually a handful of other people that are still kind of donating their knowledge and time into it. I've only met one of them, and I'm going to apologize and say that I won't be able to say her name because I forget how it was pronounced, and I know I got it wrong the first time. But otherwise I would totally look it up. But there are at least a handful of people that are helping Lex out. If it was Lex alone, oh man, he'd be needing a lot of donations to make sure he could make that his full-time job. Yeah, definitely shout out to Lex and team. Definitely shout out to Lex and team. So what do you think? Best biome? Ready, set, go. At least by name, because we haven't seen them all, right? So let's see, what biomes have they actually named out there? Biomes. Come on. Sundark has the best name. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. List of biomes. Okay, so yeah, there's Badlands, Jungle, Tropics, Corrupted Areas, Riverlands, Tundra, Floodplains, Sandsquall Desert, Underrealm, Forest, Snowy Mountains, Volcano Area, and Tabletop Mountains. I don't know. Like, I want to see more about the corrupted areas, because we really only saw that one little sneak peek, right? Where they were streaming which one was it? The gathering one, or the artisan stream, because they went out gathering and processing and everything, right? But they kind of looked up a hill into the corrupted areas, and they saw one of those creatures way up in the background for about 2 seconds, and then they turned away from it and kept going about their day. I wonder if this came up in conversation the other day, but if you were in a corrupted area, would you eventually get corruption? Would it just slowly start to seep into you? Would you then have to go and work off the corruption? Would bounty hunters be able to hang around the outside of a corrupted area and just snipe targets? Yeah, Dunes and Kel Mountains. And yeah, Pally, that's actually, here's some lore for you, and I'll let you hit up Thogli about that. But Dunes and Kel Mountains is kind of the origin of the guild name. Dunehold. The root is from Dunes and Kel Mountains. And so Gundel says, I really want like forest biome with elven woods vibes. So do you think that would end up being regular forest, jungle, or tropics? Which do you think would end up being more elven woods? Probably not tropics, right? But do you think you would see elven woods in a jungle type setup, or just in like a regular forest, like your typical forest? Alright, Sylvan elves. Okay. I can see that. I can see that. The Cove area in Alpha 1 was awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Did you see, Nomad, in the Alpha 1? People were actually going through and swimming around through all the water. There was actually an underground entrance into a big old cave area underneath that little cove area. They swam down through the water and popped up into a secret entrance. Yeah. I'm trying to remember who it was, because we were looking all over for Sandalaria. We were trying to find the sandal shrine, basically. and we knew it existed. We couldn't find it, so we were looking everywhere, and one person was just kind of goofing off, looking around, and we ended up jumping into his stream and saying, hey, have you seen this? You're just exploring everything. You had to have explored the whole map. Have you seen the Sandal Shrine? And he said, no, and started looking around everywhere. And that was one of the areas that he had seen before, and he dove in the water and like cruised over that way. Epic Canada I love it. And Palais says Elven seems less tropic and more regular fantasy forest. Yeah, I could see that. But now that also makes me wonder, do you think Empyrean have kind of like forsaken the forest? Do you think they've actually like kind of forsaken the forest and walked away from them, and they just kind of ignore that? They're not about that life anymore? Or do you think that they still like to stay near some kind of trees, even when they build their cities? Yeah, deep dark. Yeah. Well, that's why I was also asking, because of you know, the Elven Woods vibes. If Gundel thought that meant more of like a jungle or a forest. But I could see it kind of being the forest for both of the elves, and just the Empyrean are just they're more militaristic, so they figured they had to build barracks and such, get some more advanced weaponry. And so they went to the city life, but they still had to stay near the trees, but it's the same trees instead of a different environment altogether. Yeah, I gotta try and remember, because it was we were talking with Z and hanging out with Z, and Z had him going all over the place. Like we all raided over to the guy's channel, and she was like, hey, have you gone here? Have you gone there? Have you seen this? And he went through and looked at every single little secret nook and cranny that he found, and we still couldn't find the Sandal Shrine. Yeah, Wood Elves architecture. Yeah, the houses look really cool and interesting, the way they've been building them and showing them off. I mean, I'm sure they haven't shown off everything in the full architecture design of everything they're gonna build, but what they have shown off definitely has that traditional, quote unquote, that traditional look, almost like Lost Boys from that Pan movie. I like it. Let's see here. I'm gonna do some random wandering around and slaying of things while we chat here. So one, I don't care about that stuff. I guess I might care about that. Friend in need. Give me some more conjuration. I could deal with that one. Ooh. I need to do this one. This is the one I have to do. This is such a pain trying to figure out where we're supposed to go. All right, I'll go here. But I'm curious which biome specifically Vec are supposed to spawn into, because I know it's kind of put on the map, but I don't know. I haven't really looked too deeply at the map. That's on my to-do list when I can, is to take a real deep look at the map and look at what area everything is in. Oh, I guess I should have just gone there. That's what I should have done. Let me actually pull that up as a matter of fact. I'm gonna look at it right now.
Deke. Deke is so happy to see you. Deke noticed this bag in the room the other day. You must need it to help with your schoolwork.
Oh, absolutely.
I've seen one of these before. Deke calls it a knapsack.
A knapsack.
Perfect for gathering and transporting beasts.
Mm-hmm.
Pleasant little breeze.
I have been thinking about something Professor Howland said in Beasts class. That I should study
Alright.
as many beasts as I can.
Let's go here. Let's open that in a
She
new
also
tab.
mentioned that poachers have been active in the area. So perhaps the beasts will be safer
See
with us
where-
than out on their own.
Precisely what Deke was thinking. You
They're
see,
supposed to
the
spawn.
room knew
Or where their
exactly
portal
what you
goes,
needed.
rather.
And luckily,
Not
Deke
spawn.
can show you how to best use the knapsack and where.
Let's see. Portal locations. Maybe that's where it's listed. Portals, divine gateways.
Our first stop will be beyond the castle grounds. We can leave now, or you can come and find Deke when you're ready to go.
So I think people have been kind of just guessing on where a lot of this stuff is going to be, right? But come on, come here, come here, come here. I'm almost thinking that they're not going to be Sand Squall Desert, but they should be something similar. Dunson Kill Mountains. I mean, those if that's not dwarf, I don't know what is. So yeah, it's probably gonna end up being down near the Jundark, I would imagine. Like that jungly area for the Vec. That's my guess. I know people have torn this map apart and tried to figure out where everything is. Yeah, the old map, and it had the X's on it for the gateways. You know, Nomad, I tried to avoid looking at the leak. And so I only kind of glanced at things, mainly because even though I'm going to be experiencing everything in A2 before launch comes around, I'm trying to see how much of the actual in-game locations and events and stuff I can discover on my own. So I tried to not look at that my best, and I caught a couple little glimpses of it, but I tried to, I tried to not look at specifics and then really nail it down, which sounds weird for a content creator, right? But that's one of those things where I'm resisting natural impulses. And hello, Wicca, welcome on in. Hey, if everybody has not met this glorious sloth, you absolutely should. I see that you're lurking, so you may not hear me while you're out there twerking, Wicca Sloth, but I do enjoy your company. I do enjoy you as a person. You are an amazing individual, and thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the lurk. Thank you for the twerk. Everybody definitely check out Wicca. Wicca is going to be doing some content and such around Ashes of Creation. Just kind of not diving in just yet, as there's not active gameplay happening. Definitely more of a hangout with people and play games rather than a cover news and stuff about games kind of person. But genuinely nice guy. Has some metal music. If you like metal, you're gonna be greeted by metal when you hit that follow button over on his channel. So be ready for it. Oh, I am thirsty, and I was about to hydrate, or we'll call it hydration. In the spirit of the redeem, though, I will actually drink some water. There we go. Doop doop doop. So how you doing tonight there, Togli? By the way. I tried to say hello earlier when I came back online, but you may have been AFK at the moment because I absolutely had a computer revolt on my hands that I had to deal with, and I want to collect it. Collect it. Okay, pick it up. Oh, it's full. Okay, got it. That's why. And that's full. Okay. That makes sense. I have all the things I can carry. I'm done. Had to get dinner. Hey, I love dinner. As a matter of fact, I love breakfast too. Lunches are amazing, and I couldn't do without them either. food in general is my second favorite thing. 11sies, yes. Second lunch.
I'm ready to learn how to use the knapsack.
Perfect. Deke loves an outing.
Right. We go grab some aminals. But yeah, Nomad, if you love sloths, definitely check out Wicca. Actually, last year, right around, I forget exactly when it was, but it was right around the time that everybody in Ash's community does their
Deke's life. Deke found himself in
sorry,
service
one
of the
second.
cruelest wizard he ever met. A nasty poacher. Deke hated working for him. He did horrible things to beautiful beasts.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
It was during those days that Deke first saw...
Okay, pause. So yeah, it was right around the time where every content creator, at least in Ash's community, does their charity streams. So it was right around the October-November time frame, if I recall correctly. He had a, you know what? I'm gonna look it up. There's an apparently a National Sloth Month or something. But either way, he had a charity stream where he was getting people to adopt a sloth. Or yeah, it was right around National Sloth Day. No, International Sloth Month is October. Yeah, I got it right. I got it right. Yes. And so Chibi and I went and we adopted a sloth. It was a cute little girl. She was adorable. And apparently she was very high-spirited as far as sloths go.
Zach, it'll be nice to see one used for good.
Cryptic. I am doing fantastic. How is your day going? We're currently talking about random Ashes stuff. I am exploring through here in Hogwarts and talking about sloths and Sloth Month and how amazing they are.
Deke enjoys coming here to watch the beasts, especially the
Quite the variety of things.
nearby. It will be nice to keep them safe. All you will need to do is get close, direct the open knapsack toward the puffskein, and in it'll go.
All right.
Okay. I'm puffskein napping. I suppose I have to put it on my bar, don't I? Yep. I gotta put it on my bar. Let me add another one here. I need a 5th bar. I got 3 combat bars and one that I just need to keep cycling out with all the RP stuff. Alright, come here, buddy. You look like a good puffskein. Come here. Nope. I gotta do this. Oh, actually, that accidentally worked out pretty well, didn't it? Alright. Those sloths always have this intense look on their face. Yeah, they do, but then they're always so very not intense. When people pick them up and you see them, like, you can see their eyes get real big when people get close and they start doing the claw thing, but then somebody picks them up and they just go, oh yeah, okay, this is cool. And they just mellow right out. They stop moving completely, but they're so frantic until they stop moving. Yeah, exactly, until they get that big hug going. This is fine. I'm fine.
As many as the knapsack will hold. Poachers capture puffskeins and, well, Deke isn't sure what they do with them. Deke is certain they will be safer with you. Now, not all beasts will be as simple to rescue as a puffskein. Deke suggests you next find a beast that can fly. A jobberknoll, perhaps.
A jobberknoll.
Where would I find one?
Deke knows of some to the west, nesting in a large tree overlooking Hogwarts. But we must be careful. Deke has seen poachers in the area recently. Deke will meet you there whenever you're ready.
Don't worry, I'll take him out. I'll take him out, buddy. Yeah, you know what's funny is talking about that kind of personality. That's basically Wicca Sloth in a quick summary as well, by the way. If you were to ever go to his stream, especially if you go to raid his stream, he'll be in absolute chill mode, just like relax back, kick back, just in No rush to do anything about life mode. And as soon as that raid comes in, he perks right up and there's metal music playing and he goes bananas and gets super hyper with how he talks about what's going on and who just came in and welcomes everybody. And then a minute and a half later, he goes right back into super chill mode. Kicks back and relaxes. Oops.
Hello, Deke. Shall we continue?
Oh, good. Deke was worried about you, what with all the poachers in the area. Perhaps we should work quickly. The jobberknolls are just here, in this large tree. If it's
Okay,
helpful,
let me get one.
Deke has seen Levioso used to slow flying beasts. Easier to get in close and use the knapsack.
I'll try to rescue one.
Go and rescue a jobberknoll. Good luck.
Deke will be waiting.
Hello there, Phosphorix. And hello back to Eastern Europe. 5 a.m. Oh my gosh, are you getting an early start in the morning, or are you getting a late end to the night? Because I have ended my day at 5 a.m. quite often, but probably maybe like 15 times in my entire life have I started my day at 5 a.m. It's not a favorite thing of mine to do, for sure. Also drinking mead. Cheers to that, Dogley. Cheers to that. And Chibi, that's right, your Cozy Hobbit game. Tell us about your Cozy Hobbit game.
No need to be difficult. I mean you no harm.
Oh, okay, fine, come back.
Levioso.
Oh, got him.
Settle yourself. I mean you no harm.
So you love the guild summit? I think it was cool you guys kind of ended on your question. All the responses were a breath of fresh air. Yeah, that was a great question to end on, to be honest. Like, of all that we saw in that list, that was... I'm actually really happy that that ended up tying for third place, because it gave us a chance to knock out, you know, what, like, the highest voted and the whatever, but then to just end on that, like, what does a guild mean to you? Tell me that's not the perfect one to end a guild summit on. Talking everything about guilds will do, everything about this and that and the other, and then just... But what does it mean to you? Like, in the end, that's the one big thing that matters for, you know, a guild leader to actually have. You can have strategies and this and that and the other, but if it's a business, it's not going to click with the family people, you know? Let's see, Phosphoric says, getting an early start. Had to drive someone to train station, so might as well make the best out of your day. Yes, I hear that. And cheers to that. Always make the best out of your day. No matter what it is, no matter how it starts, always turn it around for the best. The best way to do that is to find something that makes you happy early on. Something gets you motivated early on, and just dive into it. And then Oracle says, I thought it was a given for a dwarf. Oh, also drinking mead? Yeah. I mean, they have ale too. They're fans of ale, I hear. I'm not a dwarf myself, so I can't speak on behalf of the dwarves. But I have heard that they do the ale thing. So there is that. Allegedly. Zara made you cry with her response? Oh, Zara's just like that. She'll get you right in the feels. I'm not even sure she realizes she's doing it. She's just saying words, but those words are good words.
Hope your jobberknoll finds the knapsack nice and cozy. Poachers want them for their feathers, and are not kind when they gather them.
Are there any other
I'm not
beasts
crying,
nearby?
you're
Just
crying.
one that Deke knows of, a herd of moon calves. They live in a clearing of trees up this footpath. Deke will see you there.
So, Cryptic, what was your favorite response to your question? Even if you don't name the guild that gave it, like what if you could recall one specific quote from it, even a one-liner, what would it be? I mean, yeah, you're gonna obviously be biased, but let's pretend that I didn't just call your name and call you out. I mean, aside from Killer, because Killer's hype just had everybody going. Everybody had that hype from Killer just infecting their everything. Killing Killer and Ashes. There's some dwarf on troll or dwarf on orc action here. Some violence is occurring.
Clearing you mentioned.
It is. Moon calves gather near the large tree with the spiral pattern in front, but only under the light of the moon. So, unfortunately, unless you have a way to hasten time, you might sometimes have to wait until nightfall to see them.
I mean, he may have.
Deke,
I can.
waiting for your return.
I cannot condone violence caused by the meeting of guild minds upon our show, but that may have been an accurate statement. Yeah, Cryptic. That was a good one though. Yeah, a home away from home. And that, you know, that's kind of what just MMOs with friends online to me has always been. You know, like I moved a lot as a kid, like a lot. And it gave me my own strengths and weaknesses out of it all. But I think that's why I've grown to build solid relationships and good friendships, I would say. At least from my view, they're good friendships with people online with similar interests. So my gaming pals that turn into guilds that we ended up developing deeper friendships with and whatnot. Like it does become, you know, somewhat of a family. It really does. And just being able to pop on and say hi to people and just know that there's going to be someone there that's going to be supportive and, you know, legitimately curious about your day, not doing that thing that happens when you go to work or like you walk into like your regular spot to grab a sandwich and someone you always see says, "Hey, how's it going, man?" They don't really want to hear you explain how things are going. Nobody in those situations actually does. And they likely won't sit around too long to listen. They'll, "Oh man, look at the time. I have to get back to work. I gotta go that way, man." And they're not really asking, and they're not really trying to listen to that story. But you know, when you pop on randomly into a guild chat with people that you just play a game with, it's really weird that you can kind of create a bond over just playing a game, you know. But you just walk in, quote unquote, walk in. Say you log into a guild chat and you just say, "Hey guys, how's it going? Hey, how was your day? Oh, it's been rough." And you hear like 5, 6, 7, 8 different voices go, "Oh shoot, what happened? Tell us about it." And legitimately conversation will stop when somebody walks in and says, "Man, I had a shit day." So it's that's just a feeling you don't really get anywhere outside of like your closest friends in the real world. You know, your closest friends will really legitimately ask. Everyone else just goes, "Ah, man, that sucks. Well, I hope it gets better." So, what do you think about these shoes? I mean, my friends don't ask me about that, but I mean, I'm just saying. It's that kind of like deflection off to, let's not talk about negative stuff today, okay? That'd be great. Let's see. So I'm gonna get back to that, but let me rewind a little bit here. So Gundel says, I like the guild summit. My issue is there wasn't really clear-cut answers to questions or clearly defined missions to be successful in Ashes, outside of Envy, Nexus, and Axiom. Yeah, and I think honestly, and this is where I would cut folks some slack as well, is this is the first year that we as the Golden Feather have done summits. I think it's the first year that there's been a summit, like a gathering of people who are, you know, knowledgeable and in the trenches of what's going on, being gathered together to answer questions and discuss things, right? So we are as a channel, Chibi and I, we're trying to figure out how to facilitate this the best to make that kind of conversation happen. We haven't done the most perfect job with it yet, but we're trying to fine tune our approach to make sure that we can bring people together to have good, meaningful conversations, and how we can best. I'm trying to think of the proper word. Facilitate those conversations in order to make them be effective and be like bring out that information really well. And it's also because of that, because nobody else has really done that outside of just having one person on in a podcast, right? Which is totally different than talking to 6 other peers that are knowledgeable in the same thing you are, and all 6 of you trying to talk about something. It's totally different than having just a podcast, like chilling out and hanging out and talking to other people that are like interviewing you in a way, right? They're asking you questions and you just kind of go, hey, yeah, whatever. And you just talk until you're done talking. But having like a legitimate, this is kind of a timed thing. We only have so much time. We got to be respectful of everybody. So you get this much time to make your point, then we have to move on, and then we can discuss after. So they may not be practiced with that either. They may not have seen that type of thing happen in a recording and really be aware of the type of way they need to come forth with like the heart of the matter and bring it directly forward. Some people have done some great jobs. Don't get me wrong, but I think just in general, it's kind of a strange concept to many people. Like leading a guild is one thing, but going into a summit and just bringing an idea that's written down on paper instead of discussing things with your peers inside the guild and with your family members for some, with your business associates for others who have more of a business, like very regimented type guild. So I kind of cut them some slack a little bit, but I do see what you're saying. I definitely see what you're saying. But I would expect more from them in the coming years, because we're going to keep doing this every year. We're going to keep pumping out some summits, and hopefully we'll improve every year, and we'll help draw that out of these guilds. We'll prepare them better. Because we're still learning just how to format it, let alone prepare them with that format. So I feel if we do a better job preparing them, they will also bring forth some good, succinct and concise and impactful information, you know, so it really gets across like exactly what they're trying to say. And Oracle says, okay, so before the guild summit started, Zara told me she was going to use what I told her if the opportunity came up. Okay. I gotcha. So, okay, so that was referring back to your previous comment. I know for that, at least she knew what she was doing. Okay, I see. So you had a whole conversation about it beforehand. Okay. And Sir Ensington, I'm Stormcallers and I want to take over the world, and in taking over a world, happiness will be the thing we love the most, because taking over the world is fun. I mean, I'm just saying, connect the dots. If you take over the world and you make happiness the big thing that you make happen, then the world takeover is going to be fun. And then the world will be fun. And Cryptic, absolutely 100% on this. This Thogly calls us for Onsington. Cap. And Cryptic says, some of the best advice I've received was from guildies that only know me online. See, and that's the thing. Like, it's part of that no filter on the internet thing, right? Like it has that dual-edged effect. Like some people really just don't care how they come across, so they just words to the wind and they don't care how it hurts people. And other people, I don't need to have a filter. These people know me because I've just been acting like me, because I didn't feel like I'd be embarrassed talking to them like me as a person because I don't see them at the grocery store every day in person and have to look them in the eye, so I can just be me and see what happens. And you'll find when you do that, you can make connections with people a lot more, right? I tried doing that a long time. It took me a while. I started doing that just in life and found out that it's a lot easier to filter out people out of your life that way too. If you just be you, and if they don't accept it or if they feel weird about it, then you just, all right, I never met you before yesterday, so I probably won't mind not meeting you again. So sorry we didn't work out. Have a good day. And let's see, so where was I? There we are. All right, so to be fair, a lot of Nexus answers was us talking about and preparing 1 hour before the guild summit start. Oh. So Grundle says, I think Nexus and Zara did well. She's come a long way as a guild leader. I think DA Zara Angel speaks to how great guild leaders they are. Honestly, a lot of guilds are waiting to get into Alpha 2 and test and finding out where their niche is going to be. There's still so much we need to know. Yeah, and that's true with everything Ashes involved, right? Anything involving Ashes, for one, is going to be niche. Ashes is going to be very niche. Like, there's just so many things about it that are going to be niche. And so anything coming out of it or interacting with it is going to be niche just by association. Niche by association, that's a new term. I coined it. If anybody uses it, you owe me a nickel. Okay? Exactly 5 cents you owe me every time you use the term. If you don't use it, you know, whatever, you don't owe me anything. But you owe me a nickel if you do. But yeah, it's going to be niche by association because think about it. Anything, yeah, niche by association. You owe me a nickel, Togli. You owe me a nickel. But because it's, think about it. There's typically when people think about games, there's PvE crowd, there's PvP crowd, right? But then there's also like the econ crowds and the life skilling crowds and whatnot. But even if you just keep it PvP and PvE, right? Ashes is looking for the sub genre of people that enjoy both to equal or equal-ish degree, that they are okay existing in a world where you can go to slay a dragon and you're instead going to get slain by Bob, or was it Bong Toker 42069 or something? What is it Lord Forged has? What's that person's name? By that guy. You're gonna go try and slay a dragon, and instead he's gonna come around the corner and kill you instead. So yeah, Bong Slayer 420. So it's that PvX crowd that is the golden cohort for Intrepid. So they're looking for a subset of 2 different subsets, which makes the numbers even smaller and more niche and more of a very specific audience. And they're perfectly okay with that being a thing. And that means that it's going to be niche. Everything about it, if they're aiming for that golden cohort, it's gonna be a very select audience that is going to be enjoying long term. I'm speaking of enjoying Ashes. So then figuring out what kind of niche you're going to fill inside of that. And Gundle follows up, don't get me wrong, the other leaders and guilds had a lot of passion, which they all got across, which is great. But as a guild, I definitely saw cracks as an observer. But I think they did good. First steps. Yes. Oh, thank you, Gundle. Appreciate that. It's very much appreciated. We do try. I will say we felt awkward with this one because in the previous one, we were also, because we did the content creator summit, right? The CC summit. And we were also CCs. So we kind of took part in it at the same time as trying to moderate and host everything. So it felt like we were taking more of an active role. This time around, we made some changes based on feedback from the previous summit. and we wanted to make sure we got both viewer and participant feedback, and we made a bunch of changes. Not all of them were apparent to those who are watching, but in the background and in the visual presentation there were a lot of changes, and it felt weird to me not taking part as much and just kind of saying, okay, well, here's what we're doing in this section, and kind of letting it go after that, and just watching and just kind of pushing buttons, like hitting the timer and like watching chat, and just making sure that everybody kept on topic to, you know, one degree or another. And it was a whole other feeling. And yeah, Thogly, it was because we don't run a guild. Neither one of us runs a guild. We're not guild leaders. We're not the leadership of a guild. We hold an advisor role in Nexus, but it's really just more of an outreach advisor, more so than anything. Well, Chibi now might be stepping up how active she is, because I mean, she was doing, you know, the side quest after the day job, and now she's kind of focusing a lot more on Golden Feather work and whatnot, and helping Nexus, so she might be doing a little bit more than we were previously. But yeah, we don't lead a guild, so it wasn't really our place to say like we're gonna take part and we're going to impact these discussions, so to say. But we definitely wanted to give some discussion to some parts, but we knew that if we were to talk and we were to inject what we thought and this and that, it would actually detract from the time that the actual invited guests had to talk, and we didn't want to do that. But either way, it felt good. Even without participating verbally in the discussion parts, it still felt good. Like there were some really good points raised. There were some really good discussions happening. We enjoyed it, and we're definitely going to keep doing it again and keep trying to improve. But I just wanted to at least remark that it felt weird not actually participating and doing more of a moderator role. And Gundel says, I'm a hardcore gamer, also very analytical. Apologize if it's critical. I do think the other guild leaders have great passion, and that's an important step in being a good guild leader. Absolutely. Passion is part of it. If you don't have passion, you're doing it for what? Like, literally for what? It's, unless you are running a pure like auction house domination guild, there's got to be some kind of passion to it. Or unless you're running it like a business, and your business is just making money, and or like dominating the PvP space of this castle, and that's it. But even then, like, you still have some passion for that, right? There's still some kind of passion in there. Like, you have passion to make the most money on the server. You have passion to own a portion of land on the server. Like, this is ours, and we did it because we dominated the PvP grounds. Like, this area around the castle, nobody steps on here unless we say they can. Like, that's still some kind of passion. So yeah, I think even in those kinds of guilds, you gotta have some kind of passion. And Thogly, being a good guild leader can be subjective without gameplay to show it. Oh, well, thank you for the follow, much appreciated. Turn this up here. Is that another one? Thank you for the follow. You don't have to, but hey, if you're enjoying the content, please do follow. It's much appreciated. That means the next time that we go live, you'll get a notification that says that we went live. So we'll see you again, and we love seeing new faces. We love seeing old faces. The older the better. If we've seen you 100 times, we like it more than seeing you 12 times, but the first time we see you, it's like the 100th time too. We're as excited. Don't bother me about the mathematics with that. Oh, full support. I wish we could play Ashes right now. We actually can't, so that's why this is up right now, this Hogwarts. I could totally get back to trying to play some of this stuff and do some questing while chatting, but we got into some deep talks about the guild summit that we just did not too long ago. So I got distracted and kind of stopped the actual playing of this game while we were talking, but I can get back into that in a moment. I just want to catch back up on chat real quick. If that's what you were talking about when you're questioning game. If you're asking about ashes, man, I wish I could. We don't even have a date for the Alpha 2 yet. We're hoping to get one, and by we I mean at least a portion of the community is hoping to get a date on when that's going to be released, coming up this, what is it, Wednesday, when they do their live stream over on Twitch. If they do, that's gonna be fantastic. We're all gonna have dates that we can put on our calendars. We can all take vacation, knowing that we'll be back and ready to play Alpha when it does release. But until then, we're kind of stuck just talking about the game, really. And I find it more entertaining to have game music on and some nifty little things like the little flying owls and dragons, and I can do some questing and stuff while I chat ashes. Much more entertaining to me than just putting up a random backdrop and just shooting the breeze with nothing but me and the same interrupted live stream video we've watched 112 times. But speaking of catching up on chat before I can start playing again, let's see here. Yeah, being a good guild leader can be subjective without gameplay to show it. True. Sir Ensington says, Gundle, were you up there as the leader on the summit? I'm taking a 0.01 of it. I think I missed, maybe because I've been talking so long, I missed the connection to what you were saying there, Cryptic. What's the taking a 0.01 of it? Cryptic? I missed that one. Yeah, niche by association. That was a while. Holy cow. Easy to nitpick as an observer. Just saying, no, I wasn't. If there's a guild leader, I was watching it as an observer. Have run guilds previously, a server first, etc. This time, I'm sitting back and just enjoying being a guild member now. And yeah, it's a totally different world. And it does feel nice to kind of let someone run as long as they're doing a good job with it, right? And let's see, the audience being a PVX crowd is very much like AA, Arcade, and Lineage 2 crowd, which I've played, and many guilds don't survive without clear directions. Yeah, you gotta know what you're going for. People need to know what you're going for. And if you go for something different, they're gonna probably look elsewhere. Let's see, Golid, biggest critique of some guilds is not signaling to me that they would be willing to tell a member you have to do this. Because when your node's at stake, sometimes this means the world to most of your guild and you have to give orders. That Golid is a very good point. Just in general. I'm not going to say like none of the guilds gave solid signaling to it. Just because that wasn't something I was looking for, so it didn't stand out to me. I'd have to go back and check it out again. I wasn't looking for that, so maybe it's just a connection that I had missed. But that is something that's very important. I mean, whether you call them orders, commands, requests, direction, whatever. When the shit hits the fan, you need someone to be calling shots. If you don't have that shot caller, then you're gonna be stuck. Like nothing is gonna happen quite the way that anybody in the guild is hoping. If you have that direction and you have that defined course of action that everyone is expecting, people will already kind of know what they're supposed to be doing, and then just being told like in the moment, hey, do this, pow, and they take off and get it done. And then there's some people that just they need that direction in the moment because their brain just goes like they know how to do the thing, but they forget they're supposed to do that thing. Teach you how to shot call? Oh man, I'm terrible at it when it comes to games. I get myself so focused that I don't see a lot of stuff. I'm terrible with shot calling. You tell me to shot call in like Overwatch or even in like a PvP scenario? No. Nope. You call something to me and I will spot it. I will isolate it. I will figure out what's going on and I will get it taken care of immediately. No problem. But outside of that, I've got what my brain is concentrating on. And if I start to talk about what I'm trying to do, I lose what I was trying to do. I don't know why. That's just, I guess that's a me thing. I can do the things or I can say the things. I can't both do a thing and talk about doing other things, or else I lose track of both of them. It's crazy. But I would if I could. Let's see. Onsington says, I think you'd be a good fit for Envious. If an active group of peeps. Okay. I see Gundle and yeah, Envious. Okay, gotcha. I see. So this is where you have to be a dwarf. Boom, I said it. Doing best RP guild. 100% agree, says Gundle. That's what I saw myself. Don't tell the others, says Thogli. Why, are you trying to hide? Trying to hide in your RP-ness? Jeepers. I thought Jamie called it out. You should absolutely embrace the RP-ness. Don't hide it. If you like to RP, let your RP-ness fly. Alright, and then and then Gundle says Ashes is a PvP game with risks and will be punishing if you lose. Guild leaders will be able to lead and lead effectively, which I think a lot of guilds that are created don't have this. They won't survive in a meaningful way. Arcade Lineage 2 was this way. The game that Ashes is being designed to be like. Yeah, and that's where that, man. And this is where my brain kind of breaks. And you know, I'm going to read the rest of the chat here and circle back around because there's like a few things that were said, but this is a deep topic in my mind. So MF Crackers says September 30th. That's my prediction that I have my fingers crossed for, because I'm really hoping it is the 30th. For one, it gives more time for them to cook. And for two, it gives us time to go up to PAX West and enjoy that and come back and relax and get some work done, because we are both going to be taking a week off from work, and so therefore we're going to have a pile of stuff to come back to. But also we're hoping that Intrepid takes this time to go back out to conventions and visit PAX West, because it's right, I mean, down the road, but relatively as far as the size of the world goes, it's right down the road, right? It's up in Seattle, Washington, which is, I mean, it's only like a 15-hour drive or so from San Diego, right? But yeah, seriously, the 30th is if it's going to stay in Q3, that's the date we're hoping for. We were actually just talking earlier, Crackers, that if we found out during this live stream coming up that they're delaying it by a month or something, would you be upset by that? Because the rest of us were kind of thinking, you know what, I'd be okay with it, because the Alpha 2 is going to be something very important to get right the first time. They have to get it right. Like that first time they say, okay, A2 is going to be on this date, and they have to bring it to life and make it happen, and it has to be a good presentation, a good first impression. Oh yeah, Nomad, you're going to meet us up there? Yeah? I mean, we already got tickets. We already got the hotel booked. We just gotta book some flights, and that's all we gotta do. And then we're going to be there magically. It'll just happen. But okay, so to circle back here, Gundle. So Ashes is going to be such a crazy combination of so many different games. Like the best features and what some people might consider not necessarily the worst, but some bad features from others. But really the best features of what the majority of player bases that I have heard talk about it have brought forth from certain games, right? And they're all combined into one magnificent giant Frankenstein beast with some other unique aspects just whizzled in for, you know, good measure. And that is what's going to really make it shine and stand out, is just the number of things that are going to require player interaction, to require and support player agency, as long as the entire game does the same across the board. I think it's going to be a hit, really. And as long as they don't involve some of the worst parts of AA and L2, mainly being things like pay to win and pay to convenience, and completely distorting what the stated intentions of the game are before and I'm going to put this caveat in there because I do believe that a studio has 100% valid right to change the 100, like everything about the direction of their game if it comes down to the game is going to fail if we don't change stuff. But the question is it too late? So that's the balance, right? But until it comes to that, as long as they stick to what they're saying they're going to be providing, in theory, that's going to bring the player base that wants that. And in theory, when it launches and it's exactly as described, it's going to keep that player base. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing to stay with what you announce and stick with your guns and make sure that you deliver what you say you're trying to deliver. And howdy there, Nuki. Welcome on in. Join the conversation. Pull up a chair. Have a seat. Right over there. There's one right there. Has your name on it. I know it because I wrote it there. But part of that stuff is, by the way, Gundel, still talking about the guild leaders need to be able to lead effectively, and part of that is going to be having some tools in there for guild leaders to use. As you were saying, they need to be able to lead effectively, and the one thing that I think that Intrepid is still working on that they didn't have ready for Node Wars is things like some signaling tech. Uh-oh. Voice You Love says check 3, check 4. Are you continuing Chibi's conversation earlier when she was like check 1, check 2? Because that... Oh, I forgot. Actually, there's not really a whole lot of conversation happening over there, so that's probably still there. Yeah, Voice You Love. So I may have had some tech issues earlier, so I crashed out and I had to come back in. That's a remnant from that. She was making sure everything was still working, was working fine, and that nothing else was gonna fail over and just die. But yeah, I hope there's some good guild tools in there. Hope there's some good leadership as far as we were talking about shot calling. So in like node sieges and stuff you were mentioning, being able to check 7, check 8, it's gonna keep going. I'm gonna get up to 16 before the stream's over. Rocklaw, by the way. Well, hello there, Rocklaw. Welcome on in. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. How have you been and how is your day? But yeah, so tools. People need tools to do the things. And let's see, Hope Intrepid, Gundel says, I hope Intrepid can create meaningful reasons for PvE and RP players to play the game long term, because PvP games die because PvPs cannibalize the player base and the game dies. I'm a hardcore player who loves PvP and PvE, but I want the game to survive and have a healthy base, which means giving the larger player base a reason to keep playing. Oh man. Oh, did you come at the right time there? Rocklaw? Did you come at the right time? What time is it exactly anyway? Oh shoot, it's 9, or not 9, it's 10:40. I don't know why I said 9. 10:40. First-hand experience how to run large guilds. Oh, 600 to 800 members? How in the world? How do you keep track of that? Holy cow. Like, I have been in guilds that have had like 120 characters in it. But that's characters. I think that only really counted as far as like 60 people. Maybe 70 people. I can't imagine trying to run a 600 to 800 member guild. Holy cow. That's like you have a 40-person guild that each one of them also has like a 12 to 15-person guild underneath them. Or vice versa, you know? You have a you have a 12-person guild that each has like a 50 to 60-person guild underneath them, right? Bananas. I can't even imagine it. But Gundel, yeah. So That's the tricky part, right? I would think we were just talking about this in that that DM in Discord that we were talking about. So the golden cohort that Intrepid keeps talking about is PVX. PVX, from what I can gather, everybody's general idea is you leave your freehold, city, town, whatever, and you go out in the world and anything can happen. You can fight players, or you can fight NPCs. You can versus the environment, or you can versus players. I mean, I think that's kind of a definition of it, because if you think about it, the World of Warcraft has never been described as a PvX game, not once in its life that I have ever heard. But a PvP server is exactly the same thing. You can leave a town and you can hit PvP content or PvE content. So that definition, I think, needs to be redefined. But to what? I don't know, because I haven't played a game that called itself a PvX game before. But either way, like the PvX crowd, what that infers is that you need to be able to leave the world and expect to be, in my mind, having PvP impact PvE and PvE impact PvP, and the individual players within them impact each other. Both of them are logging on, they're enjoying the game itself, there are features there for everybody to enjoy. There's player versus anything. You can have player versus anything content for you to go and enjoy, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everything needs to happen at once, right? Or else you would end up going to an auction house with a boss literally at the auction house, but then to beat the boss, you also have to beat 3 players at the same time. That would be PvX if you had to experience everything at once, right? So I think really defining what PvX really actually means is going to be a big core part of what Intrepid means by PvX is their golden cohort. What does that mean? But the one thing that has always held true with every game I've seen is that if you forsake the PvE player base, your game, when it comes to MMORPGs, I need to specify this. When it comes to MMORPGs, every game that I have witnessed personally, if you forsake the PvE audience, your game dies. If you forsake the PvP audience, it might die. If you forsake both audiences because you're trying to balance too much and you don't really deliver, your game is kind of doomed as well. So there's a really weird, delicate balance where you don't really want to cater to anybody. And this is all personal opinion. I'm not a developer. I'm not even a scientist that researches all this. I'm just a content creator who's played a lot of video games in my life. So take my words with a grain of salt. But if you don't find that delicate balance where you have PvP players that are excited and happy to do the content, and I'm gonna put quotey fingers here, content, because PvP is player-driven content, right? So you put situations in front of them more so than content. You give them situations that they can make their content out of. Make it meaningful, make it impactful, make it actually have some form of like reverberations to the world, rather than just sending them off to we're gonna send you to Buckwheat's cabin off in Yonderland, and you're gonna go fight over a stack of hay. For what reason? I don't know, because you're fighting. That's why, because you're fighting and it's PvP. So go fight over in that corner. Oh, the impact of politics in the game are going to be huge for sure. But that's Oracle, that's a whole other thing. See, that's a whole other thing that can impact Ashes. And that's what I was saying is going to be the glorious part of this game, is that Ashes is going to have so many different systems combined in itself to one little special recipe that has not been really seen before. And the fact that politics can involve the entire server because of the way that the mayor system and whatnot works. What is politics? What are politic? What are politic? Yeah, politics and Ashes are going to be like crazy. But that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other type of player. Someone who likes politics and likes like macro gaming a world this is like the civilization players, right? They're going to be the ones who want to be mayors, and they should dominate it. So we're involving like the civilization players and like the Warcraft, not World of Warcraft, but Warcraft players. They're going to be the mayors. They're going to be able to, yeah, real-time strategy. Those people are going to be, yep, exactly. See, those people are going to be the mayors. They're the ones who want to be the mayor. Like in their heart, they're like, I've been practicing my whole life. I have played all the Warcrafts, all the Starcrafts. I've played the civilizations. I've played the everything. All the RTSs, I've played them. I've destroyed them. I know how this stuff works. I know how these things work. But so they're going to be excited about that. Then there's the econ PvP, the people who are going out, they're collecting stuff, they're processing stuff, they're crafting stuff, they're putting it up on the auction house, they're gaming the auction house by buying all of any of the previous items, putting it back up for sale for a higher price, or combining them and reformatting them and putting them back up for a different price, like gaming the auction house, that economic PvP. That's a whole other like mentality that you can do crazy effective if you're down for it. But if you're not, it's kind of like a you know, whatever. But then yeah, there's the PvE crowd and there's the PvP crowd. The PvX crowd is a subset of both of those subsets of player styles. It is somebody who loves and desires to play PvE, and also people who love and desire to play PvP, and also some of the other stuff as well. Like they want to play all of that stuff, and if that's the golden cohort, they're gonna have to really balance their game to bring all of those statements back to the original purpose of all of that. Was that there's gonna be such a delicate balance to make sure that everybody is actually happy. Because if you lose any of those components with Ashes, this complicated recipe, this complicated situation of all these independent systems that are dependent upon each other. So they all function on their own, but if one of them fails, the rest are going to start to slowly dwindle down too, until somebody goes, I guess I'll do that. Why not? There's obviously a need for it, and I could probably make a couple bucks or a couple pieces of gear or a couple whatever out of it. I may as well, but they don't have that desire, that push, that drive to go do it. It's not going to be done well, and it's not going to really support the system so much as keep it from falling is all it's going to do. It's going to keep it from falling over. And there's a difference between providing good support and keeping it from falling over. Slight, maybe subtle, but big impact, right? So yeah, that was my very long-winded reply to that. Let me scroll on up here real quick. So, create meaningful. Okay, just looking at the website. Maybe have Saturday. Okay, flights will be there. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, Nomad, definitely. Let me know if you do. Hit me up on Discord, man. Just Virtek. That's it. That's the Discord name. Look me up, Virtek. We'll definitely see you up there if you can hit up any of the days. So Nomad says, got a question for you, Virtek. We've heard Steven say for years the cash shop stuff would be comparable in quality to earned in-game stuff. What about quantity? Because it doesn't mean much if there's 5 things earned in-game for every 95 in-shop things. Well, Nomad, I'm the wrong person to ask for that. I'm just saying. I am a completionist. I am nuts about collecting all the things. Obviously, if I still have things to collect through my natural activities, like I need to do that dungeon 17 more times, and there might be something in there that I will get by doing that 17 more times because I need those materials, those gloves, that sword, that whatever, then I will do that first. But when I hit a day where I say I've done everything that I need to do, now what do I want to do? I need to go back and I need to collect all the things. And one of those is cosmetics. And as far as quantity of in-cash shop versus in-game stuff, I think that's going to be supremely relative. Because if you go through and you wipe out every single NPC in the entire game enough times to get every single cosmetic drop, you're going to see that number that you just described. There's 5 things that you can still earn in game, yet 95 things in the cash shop. That's what's going to happen there. If you are a person who has a bigger wallet than Watch, because you have so much money but no time to spend on a game, and you buy all the things in the cash shop. You've bought all the things, and now you have 5 things in the cash shop where you said and 95 things left in the world that you just didn't have the time to go get, and that's fine. But at the same time, did you earn anything? Really? Out of that, did you gain anything? Are you really ahead of life inside of Ashes, or did you just kind of have some more shiny things that you can click, maybe, if it fits the situation? Because a lot of the people who really care about cosmetics, they're going to change their outfits on a constant basis all the time. It's going to be either on a minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day, situation to situation. They're going to wear something to a war, something to a siege, something to a dungeon, something else to a raid, something else to a dark raid, something else to a raid that's in a volcano, something else to a raid that's in the snowy mountains, something else to just go gallivanting around the wilderness, because why not? I'm going to be riding my insert whatever one of 100 mounts that they decided to hop on today. And so the cosmetics are kind of their thing. So they're going to buy them or they're going to earn them. They don't care. And Steven showed us, Steven and Maggie, they have on a couple occasions, they've shown us a comparison between something they just released the previous month for cosmetics, or maybe not the previous month, it was a couple months before, when they finally had like a proper 3D model. They would show the proper 3D model of a previous cosmetic they created. It was on sale on their shop, and they compared it to a cosmetic that they polished up of an in-game item and said, hey, see, they're comparable, right? Actually, a lot of people who were in the live stream said that the in-game earnable item looked better. So granted, that's subjective. That's a very subjective statement, that something looks better than something else. Subjective per person and situation and design idea, right? But to me, it doesn't really matter. In the end, my answer to that is it doesn't really matter to me how many are available in-game versus on the shop, as long as it feels good that I can earn an acceptable amount of options of clothing style for transmog or what have you in game. They look acceptable. They look, if anything, like amazing, an amazing variety from base quality to top tier quality. There's an amazing variation in styles, in both appearance and the different armor types, right? So it's got to have like a base kind of aura or feeling to it, like the snow mountain set, let's say, it's got to have like a certain kind of feel to it. It's going to be whites and browns. It's going to have like some fur to it, and it's going to be fluffy looking and very puffy in like the shoulders and the chest and the around the boots and whatnot, because it's got to keep you warm up in the snowy mountains. So whether you do cloth or you do leather or you do plate, it's got to have a similar feel. It's got to have a certain kind of appearance to it, but it's got to flex a little bit within a certain range. I mean, as long as it makes sense and there's that variety, I'm happy. Even if they didn't add a cash shop. Now, if they have a cash shop and they're like, you know what? We had a brainstorming session for what we could do for armor sets, and this one just didn't really fit anything that we have in the game right now. Like there's nothing like a dungeon or a raid or an event that would really fit this armor set well, but it kind of feels relative to this. You know, have popped in on Sunnytown building, and he doesn't always feed his people. Oh, sorry Sunnytown people. Gotta feed them. They need food. My gosh. But yeah, like the cosmetic shop, if there's just something that doesn't fit in the normal everyday whatever world inside the game, and they can just add it to a cash shop, why not? It'll add me another thing I can do, because no matter what a game gives me, I've never seen a game that gives me exactly the kind of looks that I want, in game. There's going to be something with like an add-on or something that I can add to it. Maybe not add-on, but something I have to search for really hard to find, like something that's close. And if a cosmetic shop means that they're going to add in those things that don't really fit with the game world and what they have planned for actual activities, and it's just something extra and interesting that they add in, then so be it, because that'll give me more stuff to look at, I feel. All right, let's see here. All right. And yeah, we already talked about that. The voice of love. Okay, cool. When do you plan to leave for PAX West? Oracle, I'm not certain, actually. It's going to depend on, I think this month, the live stream with Intrepid. If they say that they are going to PAX, then we're probably going to try to go earlier in the off chance that we might catch them or be able to say hi or whatever. But if not, then we're probably going to go and plan to be there like the night before the day of, you know, and just pass out. But who knows? It's going to really depend on that, I suppose. But yeah, it's like Wednesday or Thursday, one of those 2 days. Because the first day of the actual con doesn't start until Friday. And I just know that we're going to be tired. Because we're going to be flying from a later part of the day to an earlier part of the day. And, well, actually, you know what? I guess that wouldn't be too bad. It's been a while since I've really taken a look at flying East Coast to West. I've usually flown West Coast to East. But, yeah, we're going to be tired from the flight. We're going to want to get some rest, so we're going to want to get there the night before, like, fairly early on. Oh my gosh, we have a raider, or maybe more than a raider. We have 26 raiders from Zillan. Hello, everybody. Welcome on into the Golden Feather Tavern. We are having such a crazy, varied conversation today. I can't even tell you what we're talking about. I legitimately can't. I've been on and off playing some Hogwarts. By on and off, I mean I think I've played about 10 minutes of this game in the past 2 hours. So there's that. Mainly we've just been talking every single topic you can think about for Ashes. It's been popping up and just cruising through. As a matter of fact, I haven't even caught up all the way with chat yet, so I'm gonna say sorry, folks. If you mentioned something in chat and I haven't caught up with it, go ahead and throw it out here once again, and then I'll cover it and we'll chat again, because this chat just flew right by real quick. Zillan, how was your stream, by the way? Welcome in, and thank you for bringing your friends over to say hi to us here at the tavern. Cheers to you. Bit low in volume compared to the other streams. Oh, seriously? I'm a bit low in volume? How am I a bit low in volume? I'm usually putting out my volume louder than most people are. Oh, you know what it is? They probably go with like, they have their OBS like capping out in the red. I don't like to clip. Clipping does bad things. So I take it as loud as I feel I can comfortably go without it really clipping and doing distortion. So that might be why I'm quieter. Alright, let's see. How is everyone? Mio, I'm doing fantastic. Everybody who's been hanging out in here, I know, at least by conversation's sake, seems to be doing fantastic as well. I don't know if maybe they're hiding stuff. Maybe they have spilt their spaghetti in their lap and that's why they haven't typed out a long reply in the past few minutes. But I don't know. I can't speak for them. I'll let them and their spaghetti speak for themselves. And Oracle says, there is just something about Sunny playing those games that drive people to start their Sith Lord arc. So you have a lot of confirmation about the depths of Sunny's corruption. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Gundle, because I saw your comment about that earlier and I know I didn't read that out. So what I described is a PvX game 100%. I think a better definition is player interactions impact gameplay. meaning PvE impacted by potential PvP. There's always a subtle threat of those player interactions always possible around any corner. Yeah. Absolutely. Damn sketty, says Zontington. Absolutely. Damn sketty indeed. Lore Forged. Holy mackerel. Wait, did you pop over here too at the same time, or were you hanging out on Zillin's stream? Did I miss a double raid? Is that what occurred here? Or did you raid over there and then he was like, you know what? We're going over to TGF Tavern. I don't know what happened. All I know is welcome in. Welcome in. Zillin had Lore Forged. Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. And you know what? What's funny is I definitely had us hanging out over there, lurking your channel too. But I pulled it all up as I was getting ready for this stream, so I saw faces, forget who was where and who was what. I thought for some reason my brain connected that you were both live separately. Talked a lot about mayor stuff. Yeah, we were talking about mayor stuff over here for a quick minute. We actually determined that everybody talks about the different playstyles between PvE and PvX and PvP. They don't really mention a whole lot about life skills and, I don't know, being a mayor, right? So we think that those people who enjoyed RTSs, and by we I mean me, because everyone else just kind of either smiled and nodded or just offered up the term RTS. But I'm going to say we to mean all of us, because they didn't object. Therefore, they think exactly like me. Exactly the same. But people who are RTS fans are going to be the ones who want to be mayors. RTSs, people who are the Civilization fans, people who are the Warcraft, not World of Warcraft, but Warcraft fans, the StarCraft fans, they're going to be the ones who want to be mayors because they're looking at the bigger picture, the macro picture, the giant, what if I change the tier level of this building right here? How is that going to affect the rest of my domain? They're going to be the ones who are focused on being mayor. And hello, Demon Soul Games. Welcome on in. And I'm not sure if you know this, but anytime you stop in and say hi, I'm going to respond to it. Welcome home. Welcome on in. Thanks for stopping by, and thank you for the resub. It's so very much appreciated. Cheers to you, friend. Cheers to you. Oh my gosh, didn't even notice he changed the screen to Dr. Sunny. And now you know. And now you know. It was snuck right in there. What just happened here? Whoa, 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 whoa. Is that... Did I see 50 gifted subs? What in the world? Yo, oh my gosh, thank you so much, whoever an anonymous gifter is. You are an absolute legend, and thank you so very much. That is... So many cheers. I don't even have a cup big enough for it. I don't have a cup enough for it, is what I was saying. I don't know where those words came from, but I don't have a cup big enough for it. Holy cow. And anonymous too, so I can't even properly thank you. Holy mackerel. Thank you so very much. Whoever you are now a legend. You are a hero for the next 24 hours. I make no promises after those 24 hours. There might be someone who saves a bus full of kids from falling off a ledge, and they will have to be able to take that hero mantle after that 24 hours, okay? I hope you understand. But for right now, you are the hero, okay? Ooh. All right, yeah, cheers. Cheers. Ooh. And as I always recommend, if you're drinking alcohol, make sure you have water, okay? Yes, 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 that's veckin' awesome. That's veckin' awesome. I forgot we were doing that now. Veckin' is the thing. You water, says Stogly. Hey, drink responsibly. Keep yourself hydrated, okay? Alcohol dehydrates you. But holy mackerel, thank you so very much. Whoever you are, have yourself a fantastic evening, and I hope you're hanging out to enjoy the conversation. Oh my gosh, I'm still like, my brain is still like trying to recover from that. I just saw a ton of chat fly by and it just said anonymous gifter. Okay. Resetting brain. Resetting brain. I can move on. I can move on. I can do this again. Okay. I'm unbroken. I am unbroken. So 10 spins. Yes, that does create 10 spins. It does. That, you know, I'm going to save that one till, let's do that tomorrow, Chibi. What do you think? Do some spins tomorrow during the tavern talks? The only question is, should we do it at the beginning or the end? Or the middle? Or spread it out and make the pain of probably having to eat 17 stinking Bean Boozled in a row that are all going to taste like dirty dishwater. I mean, I could totally do one right meow, but you have to keep in mind, yeah, 10 spins means all 10 spins means all stream long. Yo, so I could totally take a spin right now there, Oracle, but what that does mean is that if we get a Bean Boozled, you only get to see my reaction. You wouldn't see Chibi's. So if we wait till tomorrow, it's a 2 for 1. And potentially more if we end up having people hanging out with us in Discord that need to do an incoherent with us. So tomorrow gets much more value, more bang for the spin, more spin for the buck. However the saying should be fit in there. Yeah. And by the way, Desrevis, I saw your name pop up, but I don't think I said hello. Welcome in. It's been a while. It's been a while. I mean, it hasn't really been a long while. I saw your name not too long ago, but how are you doing today? How was your day? And thanks for the waiting works, because I would also, if I'm going to suffer through a terrible tasting Bean Boozled, I think Chibi should suffer with me. She should suffer too, you know? I shouldn't be the only one who has to suffer. You get a crash? Well, I'm assuming this is Sunny because you were on there. If not, Jibs, do all three of you control that account? Do all three of you type in and be like, hello guys, what's up? I think I've only seen like visible face recognition on keyboard typing for the two of you, Jibs and Sunny. Okay. Well, Sunny, you have yourself a fantastic evening. Give your bow tie a rest, hang it up and say, good job, pal. And we'll catch you around next time. That rotten egg, yes, Royer. Oh man, the rotten egg one. I don't know. I think the dirty band-aid and the dirty dishwater, they sound so tame compared to the other ones, but those are just so terrible. It's just so terrible. Those Bean Boozled are the worst. I want to get the spicy one because I can survive spicy. Spicy I can do. The nasty one's just You had a birthday or you went to somebody else's birthday? Either way, happy birthday to somebody. Either you or somebody else. After the summit and then during the evening summit for your brother. Okay. After the summit and during the evening summit. Okay, did Cherry Festival things all day Sunday? Your brother, the artist. Okay. Gotcha. The dots, they have connected. Including Blue Angels Air Show. I have not been to... I'm trying to think of the last time I've seen... Jeez, I think that was like 15 years ago was the last time I've seen the Blue Angels Air Show. Like any of them. Holy cow. Did they do awesome and amazing stuff, or is it the typical stuff? Did they do anything crazy and new? Have they started introducing stealth bombers in the show? I mean, I know they haven't, but I'm just saying. It'd be cool if they did, right? toothpaste is the best of the worst. Yeah, I'd have to say that. All right. So let's see here. Yeah, Mr. Noobtastic, that's exactly it. I really don't want Chibi to escape the jelly bean. She needs to suffer as me. Just has to suffer the same as me. Yeah, let's circle back to before my brain snapped in half with the big old gift sub there. And Demon Soul, thank you. I just was able to scroll back far enough. If you're still here, thank you for the resub. You happened to time that like just literally very perfectly, where the huge sub came in right after your resub. So I don't want you to feel like I forgot about you. I appreciate you too, sir. Oh, is he taking off? Hit you up on Discord. Figure out PAX West. Thank you, Nomad. And I look forward to it. Yeah, I'll reach back out to you. You reach back out to me, and we'll make some connections. Absolutely. All right, let's see. Described as that player interactions. Oh yes. We were talking about the RTS. RTS taking over mayorship of nodes, and how they're the perfect ones to do so because they're used to that macro scope. And that looking at how one change can influence an entire region by influencing the one town that it's upgraded in, or you know, just added to in general. If you're starting out at level 1, it's going to have an impact across an entire region. It's going to feed your entire player base some important information or money or products. So they're going to be the ones that are going to already be thinking on that scale. So, you know, why not put them in mayor? Get you another view here. There we go. Scoot this over here. There you go. It's not the same view. All right. And Brock Law, by the way, I did see your comment earlier. I was trying to catch up with everything right before that raid happened. And I saw you said something about Dark Age of Camelot had a dungeon called Darkness Falls. 3 enemy faction realms had access. Had a lot of PvX going on, and this worked great. Shadowbane dealt a lot with politics. Okay, so Dark Age of Camelot, that was one that I hadn't really played. A lot of people seem to think it was really great. And by seem to think, I mean, I haven't heard anything as far as like a full tilt bad review of the game. And that's one I'm legitimately sad I didn't take part in any way whatsoever. It sounds like it would have been a blast. I've heard nothing but fond memories. Turgo, welcome on in there, friend. How's it going? I mean, is DAOC still going? Is that what you say is an amazing game? I thought it was shelved a while ago. Is it still actually going to this day? Let's see, Desrevis earlier says, now think about this: unofficial social groups helping the region get those pieces of info to those mayors so your whole region can make what the region needs without too much duplication. That would be actually a very good idea, I think, for a guild to take part in, is literally information running, right? Mayors can pay a service, which is taken out of tax money or some way, shape, or form, because mayors may not be able to put that money directly in their pocket, but you know, some way, shape, or form, information is just run all around the map, right? Think of how easy it would be to pollute those wells, though. How much could you trust someone who's bringing you information from the other side of the map for a small bit of coin? Maybe somebody else gave them twice as much coin to pollute what you're hearing. Let's see. Okay, fair. There are people running. Let's see. Boot. Warhammer Online, Guild Wars 2, and TISO PvP were all based off of it. Okay. I think there's still a private server. Okay, gotcha. You mean a region as in the 5 regions? Let's see, I meant just in general. Well, yeah, I guess you wouldn't need like an information runner for your specific, yeah, like the 5 different castle regions or the 5 different metro regions. Well, I just had my brain just took like an offshoot instantly as soon as I finished reading your comment. But I was thinking it would be neat if a guild was dedicated to just running information all around. Like you have a subscription service. As long as somebody gives you their 5 gold every month, you give them the newsletter. And the newsletter is gathered by, you know, your 100-person guild all across the map. They go everywhere, corner to corner across the world, gather all the info they can, drop it into one newsletter and ship it off every month. That'd be great. See, might be a need for coordination across the world to be fully geared. Absolutely. Absolutely. Betrayal over money, says Turgo. Easy to do. Easy to do. Man. There are literal politics built into this game. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be plenty of corruption going on. Oh, that's something you have to choose by hand there, Rocklaw. You have to go into... Let me see if I can figure this out on the fly. You have to go into these settings down by your chat button and go to chat appearance. It's like 1/4 of the way down from the top. No, never mind. I lied. It's not there. It's, where the fuck is it? It was somewhere in there. Click the mute icon next to your game. Can you just do it that way? Is it that simple? I was pretty sure that was see, now I need to, nope, see, it's still there. It's still there. Because I know I can turn it on every once in a while, and I know I have turned it on, but I forget where. It was like next to... I'm gonna help fix this. I'm gonna help fix this. Chat identity. Yes. Okay, yeah. To the left of the chat box. Like the box that says send message. On the left side of that, click that button. And that's gonna have the different things you can put next to your name. Because for me, on my name, the DJ Erebus one, it's a sword for moderator. Like it's literally next to, if you click into the box that says send a message, it's directly to the left of that. Click on that and then change it to something. Click none and try that. The global badge, by the way, is what you need to change. No? Customizable badge? Try that one. Like just keep scrolling up and down. There's a big list of things you can change about your chat identity. Many things. Many things. Hey, there you go. You got rid of it. But that basically lets the streamer know that you can watch the thing, but you can't hear audio. There should be another one that basically says you're watching with only audio, like you can't see it, like a little eyeball with a slash on it. Yeah, listen only. Yeah, sometimes I lurk people. I do a lot of lurking of friends just to give them the extra view. And once in a while, like, I feel awkward just leaving them a view and that's it, and running away. So I try to leave when I think about it and I don't feel awkward about it. I drop a little, hey, I'm lurking. I can't talk or see anything. I'm literally running away after I hit enter, but I wanted to give you a chat just to give you some engagement. Okay, bye. But But yeah, I'll give them one of those that has like the no audio or the eyeball or both. I try to send just so that they know, like, I can't see or hear anything, but just wanted to let you know I'm here lurking. You have a view. Okay, bye. But okay, so yeah, it is Revis. I was thinking, because I keep trying to think of fun and interesting ways to make money in the game, because there's so many options to make money in Ashes. So many options that don't involve actively going and putting yourself in danger of PvP deaths or PvE deaths or needing to go explore stuff. Just many different ways to take advantage of the economic system. Like if you were to create yourself a little business, guild-wide or not, that was built around exchanging information between all 5 metropolis areas or all the castle areas or regions, whatever their zones of influence. You could also ride yourself a mule type animal, or try to be inconspicuous with a not mule and just pack your literal backpack as much as you can. Run across the map with whatever you can carry to make as much money as possible from one node to the next, but also being paid for carrying the information that you have. Granted, I don't think you need to carry the information so much as you would need to go to that region to collect the information. So it's not really carrying the information. It's not like Pony Express. It's like a reverse Pony Express. Like you have to ride to an area to... Well, yeah, see, TLDR, and that's why I wanted to re-explain what I actually meant. Because you might need to go to an area to collect information. You might be looking for... if there's maybe, and here's why this might be important. If you are a resident of an area, right? If you are at a metropolis and a raid opens up nearby, you don't want the other areas of the map to know that a raid opened nearby. If somebody happens to find out, they happen to find out. But you don't want to advertise that, because then people from the other areas are going to try to come to your node to try to run that raid too, and now you have competition. And competition you don't want. You want to limit everything that you have to your node if possible. So when it comes to a profiteer standpoint and just a pure access standpoint, if there are 15 guilds running through the same raid, you may not be able to see a raid boss that you would be able to experience, fight, and maybe even beat if there were only 5 guilds. Or 3 guilds for that matter, if we're talking about 15 versus 1/5 of that, right? So you might try to limit that information as much as possible. So a guild or a group of people could potentially make money by making it their job to search through all the other zones, find the information, find things that are being hidden or stashed away or may not be known to another node, and sell that information. But yeah, if it was literally just as I was originally stating it, which is kind of a misstatement and absolutely, as you said, redundant in the age of Discord, telling somebody information that you already have, yeah, absolutely. But I meant more of the going to find information and physically seeing it and confirming that type of thing. Can someone say which game that is on the screen? This is Hogwarts Legacy. That's what this is. This is actually just the map. As the title of, at least over on Twitch, as the title says, I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy. But I'm talking Ashes of Creation. So this right here is just something I was doing in case conversation lulled, if people tapped out or they just wanted to chill and relax. I was going to play some Hogwarts. I played about 10 minutes of it so far in the 2.5 hours that have been live. But yeah, so far I haven't had a need to resort to playing, and I've been too busy talking and interacting to be able to just say I want to play. It's just kind of background visuals right now. Actually, I could even tap out of this. and get a nice good view of this. You think this is Metropolis? I'm not sure if this is Metropolis. We're gonna call this a city. This is a city right here. We'll give the city scene for everyone to enjoy. That's what we'll do. Alright, and thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the tavern, by the way. Alright, so let's see. NDSA Ikov. Last streaming, last epoch. How is that, by the way? Is it good? You don't hear much about monster coins anymore. Hoping it's not going to be an afterthought feature. No, I don't think it's an afterthought feature. I mean, the video they showed it off in, that must be like 4 years old by now. Like 5 years old. Like that one's forever old. I don't think it's going to be an afterthought so much as like once they've made the feature, they only really need to update it. And that's about it, right? Just they have the NPC built. The NPC has capabilities. It can do this stuff. And the button you push when you activate a monster coin lets you take over that type of monster. So all the gears and bolts and cogs and everything are all in place. You just need to be able to hand it over to somebody to take control of instead of the AI engine running it. So I'm pretty sure that would all be okay. Yeah, I mean, it sounds cool, right? You can get like achievements and maybe some cosmetics from helping destroy somebody's town by being a monster, right? And that's what I thought would be actually really nifty. So think about this. There's been a lot of conversation here lately about PvE players and PvP players, and one being happy about certain changes but not the other, and different parts of the game cater to different people, etc. What if part of the monster coin system let you play as the monster, but think about it this way. You are playing both PvE and PvP because you're playing against a monster character, so it's all the monster skills. You're playing against a wave of them, right? But you don't know if any of them are a player or just a really good AI. So it's a player's intelligence against a monster's skills that you may not be used to seeing. How neat would that be? How neat would that be? Like you're technically, I mean, that would be an awkward definition of it, but that could be defined as PvX, right? Because you're versing a player that's also an environmental creature, right? I don't know. I think I get giddy thinking about that. Like you're gonna have an actual player using their own like proper intelligence instead of artificial intelligence to decide what NPC moves to use to slay you running up against it. And TLDR says, I think the tech they use in streams to change player perspective is testament to this not being an afterthought. I mean, that could very well be part of it. That's at least, oh, hey, Ellie Skyborn, you have a great night, great rest, and we'll see you around next time. Thank you so much for stopping in. And Yiken, is it Yiken with a hard eye, or is it Yikon with the swoopy eye? Either way, so I was thinking, if two servers are slated to be merged, there should be an apocalypse, and you could use monster coins to attack the other server. First server to fall merges into the other. You know what? Okay, so either one. Okay, so I'm gonna say, you know what, Yiken. If it's either way, I'm gonna say Yiken. But it sounds like yikes, and that makes me chuckle in my head. So I'm gonna say Yiken. So that's very, very similar to an idea we had already discussed on stream before, which was if servers need to merge, there would be somewhat of a loss condition on both servers where like corruption started to take over. And people had to fight it back, and whichever server lost the fight basically ended up being reborn by, you know, the goddess of creation, and got reborn. But with that rebirth came the fact that they had all of their belongings just sitting in a chest, waiting for them to arrive. They arrive in the new server with nothing in hand, no tangible things in hand except for like their furniture and stuff. They've got everything as if they just like died and woke up again, but they don't have their freehold anymore. They don't have their property, like their physical like land-based property. But they'd be able to go, and if they could obtain another land-based property, they could redistribute their furniture and whatnot. Like that was something we thought of, but that doesn't add that monster coin thing, which I think that is really cool. That'd be a really neat addition, to be honest. So it would not only be trying to fight against your own corruption, it would also be taking part in the monster coin system on a different server. So you'd be stomping through as a monster, trying to destroy them as their corruption encroaches, while you also have people on your home server fighting against your corruption that the other server is contributing towards. I think that would be actually really neat. And that would also impact the PvX feature, right? You would literally be fighting against other players and as an NPC, not really and NPCs, but as an NPC, invading your server. That'd be a heck of a time. I think that'd be one heck of a fun time. I think that you should float that idea up to Intrepid via a comment on their video, or a comment in Reddit or whatnot. See, because Golden Feather, we're all about the community, right? And you added another thing onto what we had discussed before and made it even more unique and what I would consider probably more fun. So if you want to add that up there, go ahead and just do that. Like combine all that stuff into one suggestion, because we've talked about it on our show, but we haven't officially like put it into text and made a suggestion for all to see and hear. And if you make that on one of their YouTube videos, if you go on one of their YouTube videos and you make a comment with all that combined, they might actually pop your name up there and read that out. So make sure to subscribe to the Intrepid, etc. I think it's only subscribers that they read out loud on their live streams, but yeah, like subscribe to their YouTube and post that up as a comment and see what happens. Maybe they'll call you out for it, because I think that'd be a badass combination of events. And think about it this way: if you were on the smaller server and that's how you got merged into a larger server, and you lost your freehold house, whatever, and you know, let's be nice and say you get all your money back that you paid into buying the property and everything, so it didn't cost you money, right? Let's assume that happens. But if that's how you lose your freehold, is you get everything back in a bank account and you have to fight a massive, epic, apocalyptic event on your server, you get wiped out and you wake up on a strange server and have to figure out all the different politics and everything that are going on in that new area. How fantastic would that be? That would be a crazy journey, you know? That would be more than just a random gaming night story. That would be a journey. Flee with Doctor Strange into the multiverse. The Intrepid verse. Oh, lordy. Well, they did say that Steven at one point did say something about there being the potential for a universe being built around the game. That it might not be the only product that's going to experience that universe worth of information and lore. The Veraverse! Yes, Des Revis. You've got it right there. Oh, lordy. Alright, well, sorry, bear with me, folks. Give me one moment here. Got something knocked down on the corner of my desk. I need to go pick it up real quick. I'll be right back. Give me maybe 1 minute. 1 minute. And I'll be back. 1 minute. And you can just enjoy this lovely scene here until it goes to dark. And hopefully I'll be back before the dark consumes you. Do not let the dark consume you. All right, my personage has returned. Let's see here. Bring it back online here. Whoop. Okay, I have returned. I have returned. There we are. But yeah, the Veriverse. I like it. I like it. So speaking of stuff like that, total random offshoot. It has nothing to do with Hogwarts or Ashes of Creation. But who here has heard of Marvel Rivals, and who here is playing Marvel Rivals when the well, have you gotten confirmation that you're playing when the beta comes out? Coming out in July 28th, 29th, 30th, one of those 3 days, 28th to the 30th, somewhere in there. Because I'm gonna be in there and I would like to play with people. That'll probably be my Mead Quest nights, and maybe another night throughout the week if I find the time. It may not be a VOD that stays up for a long time on YouTube. I may not put it up on YouTube for a long period of time. It might, you know, just be a real quick blip. Just because I don't want to mess with our algorithm, right? We're Ashes of Creation. That's what we are. That's what we do. Oh, Toxic Ape. I see a question here. Let's see. Hey, got a question. So what best armor, guns, jewelry is possible to craft? Or there's a specific god tier items only from raid bosses. So if there's a unique godlike items only from RB drop, not craftable, maybe Steven considers putting these god tier items on simple monsters with a chance of drop 0.0000 lots of 1%. Just for hope, in case some people would lose hope getting through RB drops. And solar solo player base, a backbone, a hope to not quit. So there was a dev discussion that was put out a while ago that was something similar to that. Just gathering opinions from the player base. I don't think they made any announcements at all, like how they decided to go with it outside of that. But I think the general player base opinion that was provided to them was that they'd prefer the super rare items to drop off of bosses rather than random monsters. So that's probably what they're going to go with, because I have a feeling that's what they were aiming for anyway, and they just wanted to gauge player reactions to see what they thought. But you know, I could be wrong. But what has been stated so far is that players are going to be crafting the best items, and that's pretty much all there is to it. There's going to be players that are crafting the best stuff, and those components that are used for crafting are going to be found in the raids and on the world bosses. The tougher the boss, the tougher the raid, the tougher the situation, the more rare the items are going to be, or the more rare the materials, to use the correct word, are going to be. And those are then given to crafters, who will then be able to craft them into items. So recipes and such are also going to drop from the raids. But as Desrev has just posted, literally as I said these words, there are going to be some items that are of absolute legendary status that are limited to a certain number of them per server. The certain number that are limited per server, those items are going to be so incredibly rare, it's going to be bananas. Because if you can only have, say, 2 or 3 on the server, you're not really going to see very many, and they're probably going to be that, what you're saying, the 0.00001%. So yeah, in general, players are going to craft the best stuff, and they have to go to the raid bosses and the world bosses to get the materials for them, and the recipes for that matter. That being said, they might expand the recipes out to doing say some exploration. Maybe you explore a super hidden portion of the game and you find a recipe in a treasure box or something. I'm going to say rock law that that's a maybe, because mythical drops in EQ2. I did not play EQ2, so I will leave that to somebody else who has played it to say yes or no. That is possible. Yeah. So there's only 1 per server. Yeah, that's the type of legendary that Steven is talking about when he says that. There's going to be a limited number per server. He hasn't really, as far as I know, specified what limited number per server means, but he did say extremely limited. Let me actually look it up while I'm talking here. It may have been, and I only say may have been because my brain wants to say yes, but at the same time I don't want to say that that's how it was without verifying. Let's see, legendary items. RNG chance of looting rare and legendary items or crafting materials from mobs based on level, status, type of mob, materials of harvesting. Craft a legendary equipment is only dropped by legendary world bosses. Legendary equipment will have a roughly 6 to 12% improvement in base stats, subject to testing and balancing. Certain legendary items may be limited to 1 per server at any given time. If the player character leaves the server, then the item will become available for acquisition through whatever means it was acquired previously. A legendary weapon is easily distinguished by its visual appearance. Legendary items are not intended to be temporary, so there wouldn't be like a timer that says it's going to expire and disappear. It's going to be permanent until somebody becomes inactive or quits the game, in which case it's going to end up recycling back to the system. And there might only be 1 or 3. Yeah, unique item more rare than the dragon itself. Exactly. You may need to kill that dragon 10 times and then find out that somebody else killed it 20 times and they never found the item, but somebody else killed it 6 times and they got the item. So a total of 36, 46, 56, 76 slayings of one creature and 1 item dropped. And that might be the only one in existence. Like that is something I have not experienced on a game before, and I kind of wish I did. I've obviously oh no toxic. Steven is not. That's the quote that I was reading, is that legendary items are not intended to be temporary. There's only one type of legendary type entity or object that is intended to be temporary, and that is with royal mounts, the mounts that can fly. You have a chance to find an egg, basically, from a world boss that you defeat, like a dragon. You might find a dragon egg that has flying to it. And that flying mount might only have, say, 30 days worth of use, and or 10 hours of flying. So if you fly more than 10 hours in 30 days, it's going to expire after the flying time. If you fly 3 hours, but it's also been 30 days, then it would expire then. Something along those lines. But that's it. Just the mounts. Items like weapons and gear, no, those aren't intended to be temporary. Yeah. See, Desrevis has it. He's dialed in. He's dialed in on it. But yeah, outside of those temporary flying mounts, there's going to be one for every mayor, should they opt to. And here's the fun part: they need to opt into building a royal stables. If they don't build the royal stables, they won't be able to ride a royal mount. Also, the owners of guild castles, the PvP objective castles, they'll be able to have one. And maybe a couple more in the world at any given time might have one. Yeah, which they will all do. Of course, Rory, absolutely. You have, yeah. What mayor wouldn't say, yeah, I don't want to ride a flying mount. Who wants one of those? Jeez. Yeah, every single mayor is going to put one in. If they don't, I will be heavily surprised. They have to be very confident in their defensive capabilities or their politics, one or the other. And also that means that they won't take part in any combat against another node. So therefore, they don't feel they need to invest a point or 3 in the Royal Mount stables. Those are like the only times I could see somebody not building them. And TLDR says, I think we might get uniques across servers, not just within. I'll be honest, TLDR, I really hope not. Mainly because every server is going to be different. It's going to be so different, it's going to be insane. And that's different already. I mean, there's, 88, I think, 85 or 88 buildable and adjustable nodes, with a handful that are a handful in addition to that 88 that are buffer nodes. Or let me pull this up before I just start spouting numbers that I don't know. But it's 80 some different nodes that are actually buildable based on player activity. There's a number of buffer nodes that are not going to do anything, and then there's a number of nodes that are dedicated to the castles, the PvP castles. Okay, so 85. I'm not gonna bother looking it up. Desrevis, I'm gonna assume you have it perfect, and you'd never do me wrong by posting an incorrect number. So 85 total nodes, but in total it comes out to like 103. So those nodes, they're just going to kind of be what they are based on player activity. Now, player activity might start off identical on every single server, and let's assume it did. Let's assume the first 6 months went identically perfect on every single server out there. Then yeah, they're going to be identical in form and in function. Well, or I should say in function. In form, they might be different because one node rose up to be a metropolis, but the major contributor were humans. And then another one was on another server it was elves, and on another server it was dwarves, on another server it was orcs. Okay, well then what flavor of orc, what flavor of human, what flavor of elf, what flavor of dwarf? They're all going to be different in appearance. Now after that first 6 months, they start to do their own thing, because people are people, they're going to vary, they're going to do whatever they want. And every one of those nodes within 3 months is going to be drastically different. Or not every one of those nodes, every one of those servers is going to be drastically different because of what they choose to do. One metropolis could war with another, destroy it down. One node that's not a metropolis could take on another node that's not a metropolis and take it down. And then there's a big empty spot there that can't level up. And then somebody else might take over their metropolis and knock it down. And then suddenly that whole entire region, because 2 nodes fell, is going to be entirely different than another server. So there's going to be so much difference already that I think adding the complexity of having legendary bosses drop legendary items, I think that's going to be something that people would really want to say, that I was here when this node and this other situation aligned just perfectly to create this one boss. This one legendary boss was out only in these certain circumstances. We killed it and I got that weapon from it. And that's going to be such a point of pride and a point of just, I was here way back when. Like, I was here at a point in this node's history where I was able to collect this item. And so having the unique items only per server will give everybody on that server a chance to say that they were a part of that history of that server, even though that history no longer exists. So as much as it would be really neat to have like the 100% unique across all servers item, I think it would be more special to the community as a whole to have every server have their own series of unique items. That's going to create a problem though when it comes to mergers. Because merges, if they need to merge a server and that unique item exists in 2 different servers, they're going to be combining servers and one of them is going to have to go. Or they're going to have to adjust their unique item workings in the background so that one of them does not get deleted. And they both can exist until both of them disappear. And then it will recycle another one after they're both gone. Like, the system doesn't try to recycle a new one into the world because one of them gets destroyed, you know? Let's see, Toxic Ape. Will we have like databases to know for sure which boss drops which thing? Or just blindly ape in and whatever you get without navigation? So, yeah, people will figure it out, so yes and no. As Disreva says there. Databases will be difficult since they will only really be 100% viable for the server they're based on, says Rocklaw. People will figure it out, but will they remember, says Toxic Ape. So I'm gonna agree and disagree, and also just toss out some middling in the gray area items between what Desrevis and Rocklaw said. I think personally, for one, Stephen mentioned something about scientific nodes having a library of progress and whatnot of a server, or of a ZOI at least, if not the server. And I think as long as that library exists, it will have a record of things, which could include items like, a database for boss drops. If that scientific node gets nuked, you're going to lose that data. But it would have existed in the world for who knows how long if that node did not get destroyed. What that also means is somebody would be able to, if they wanted, to sit down and manually copy out all that information into a separate spreadsheet / Word doc, however it's formatted, and actually record all the information from that scientific node, which might not be the exact same as the next nearest scientific node, going from, say, a metropolis down to a city or town or expedition or whatever the next down that is closest in distance within the same ZOI. If that one doesn't hold the same information or isn't capable because it's not of a metropolis tier, that information might be gone forever. And yeah, Desrevis, scribes can also add to that library, but how they do it hasn't really been talked about much, right? It's just been kind of like a, hey, this can happen. So we don't know if that means scribes can go explore the world and come back and add the information that they found from other areas of the world, or if that means that they can literally download and like copy the information out of that book, hold it on hand, and the next time they visit a new metropolis scientific node, they could upload it to their library and then copy that entire library back to their book again. Oh yeah, the library comes in earlier on, if I recall correctly. I think you're right on that. But what I was thinking is maybe to the certain level of detail, it might not be the same from the lowest tier it's available to the highest tier it's available. There might be more detail as the tier node goes up. I don't think that's been specifically detailed, so I don't know. It might be, it might not be, but that's part of the stuff we don't know yet. But that would be both interesting and frightening at the same time. Like, you could lose so much history about a server just because someone decides to take out a single metropolis node, right? Yeah, information warfare, exactly. But I think it would be super handy if scribes could document all of that. And scribes could document all of that and create their own separate copies of that library. That would actually be a super, super, super strong thing to put in for a scribe to have. Is the capability of remembering even, like, so imagine it even a step further. What if the scribe system had quite literally a library backup function where the scribe could go in, but each individual scribe could only back up a certain amount of the information in that metropolis's library based on how many scribes of Grandmaster level there were that exist in as a resident of that node's ZOI. And you needed to go in for a certain amount of time every month and copy that stuff in. Like, you needed to go in, say, a total of 10 times per month in order to keep the backup of your portion of the data. 10 times a month you had to go in, or whatever the case is. I think that, no, see, that would go against what they were talking about with login rewards, right? Would that be considered a login reward? If you were to GM scribe, and part of your function as a Grandmaster scribe was backing up the database for a library, like the library for a node, rather, and you had to log in 10 times a month to maintain that library backup in your books, do you think that would be considered a daily login reward? Would people have a backlash about that the same way they did about login rewards that exist currently in the game? Or not exist currently in the game, but have been put out as a question for if they existed in the game. Would people like that? I forget how they phrased the initial question, but they asked that as a dev talk too, or a dev discussion. Was what do you think about login rewards? And people basically all said, yeah, no, not at all. Don't do them. Hate them. Oof. But that would be another incredibly deep system and whatnot. Yeah. And you know, Rocklaw, I've kind of changed my position on that. At first, when that question first came along, I was like, I love login rewards. None of them feel like I need to have them. It's just they exist, and if I log in, I get some bonuses. But over time, I really started to see what people were talking about with, you know, it feels like you have to log in because if you don't, you're going to fall behind, and etc., etc. And it creates that FOMO feeling where if you don't log in, you're missing out. And over time, I've kind of gotten to see that point of view. I'm almost there. I'm almost on that train. But I still feel that there could be some form of login reward that could be viable. And that being said, good enough. And that's exactly where I was going to go with that. As soon as you said that, Royer, is that I can also 100% see the point of if your game is good enough, you don't need a login reward because people will want to log in no matter what. And so that's what's kind of made me come around to that way of thinking over time. Originally, I was very much like, what's the problem with login rewards? It's you get freebies. It's whatever. You log in, you do the thing, and you get the stuff. It's fine. It's fine. But over time, I have been swinging much farther towards the, yeah, actually they are kind of junk, and I've been brainwashed to think they're amazing. I never really thought they were amazing, by the way. But I've been brainwashed to think they're acceptable and they're good. So yeah, I've kind of, my brain's leaned away from that now. But that's why I ask, like, would you consider that a login reward if you were a scribe and you could back up a scientific nodes library of event information and world progress, but you had to log in 10 times in a month in order to keep that library backed up? Would you consider that a login reward? Because then you could take that information to the next scientific metropolis and scribble it down into their library. And so now you've collected all the information for 2 separate nodes. And now you have all the scribes in that node excited about new information. Now they want to catalog all that. And in theory, you could through time and the ages, you could catalog and write a whole encyclopedia based on everything that somebody has recorded at least 10 times a month, every month for the life of the game, except for, hey, so there was the burning of Alexandria, right? Yeah, that time where no scribes copied anything out of it, and all history of the entire server was lost. And so now we don't know what the hell happened before that time. We guess, and there were some stories that people talk about, but as far as a written history, it's all gone. It's all gone. That was the last scientific metropolis for the last 2 years. So we don't have that history anymore. Now we have to start it all over again. Man, scribes unite. There you go. Actually, Rockwell, it is about the time for me to tap out. I was just kind of chatting away until about midnight or so is when I usually tap out. So yeah, it is that time. It is that time. But I wanted to at least finish that part of the conversation. So let's see, just to finish what was in chat here. Let's see. Rocklaw says they have a subscription. I'd rather pay a higher subscription than be forced to log in every day to get free stuff. Yeah, and that's another solid point. That's another solid point, and that's why I'm pretty much like 99% there on the daily login rewards suck. But I have that 1% that's holding out of, but there was a reason I was holding out. There's got to be a reason. It had to be valid, right? One of these days I'm going to tip over and it's going to be a full 100% that login rewards suck. Oh, hi, Lloyd. Don't give them ideas about higher subs. Yeah. Just like they were over on Loreforge, they were talking about, you know, Intrepid could charge $50 a month as long as they don't have a cash shop and they just give us all the stuff and I'd be fine with it. I don't think they said 50. I think they said like 30 or something, but still. And everyone was like, don't tell them that, no. Well, no, somebody said 30, Chibi. I'm pretty sure it might have been Jibs. But I remember one of them said like $30 they'd be okay with. If there were just no extra cash shops at all, there were no extra this, there were no extra that, and if it were to stop this other thing, then they would be happy to donate extra money even beyond the monthly sub. And I forget exactly who said it, and I need to go watch it again to make sure I know who to blame if Intrepid does decide to do a $30 monthly sub. But I digress. Let's see, so Lloyd says, ends up being a screen. I just click through and ignore the items. Yeah. Rocklaw, there's a mud text game called Gemstone 4 that I've played that has a $30 plus a month subscription cost. Are you serious? $30 a month for subscription cost for a mud text game? Bananas. That's bananas. Holy cow. Alright, so Desireva said Final Fantasy XIV had to drop their sub price at first from 20 to 15, but some people pay more for the bank space. Yeah, absolutely. More for bank space, more for they also have a cosmetic shop, they also have a name change shop and a dye shop, and they have everything you could think of to modify your in-game presence shop. And then they also have like a mobile app that also you have some extra bucks, extra dollars you can spend for some stuff there. Yeah, craziness. Karnak, this is Hogwarts Legacy. This is a game that I have played for, I've been streaming for about 3 hours now, and I have actually played probably 13 minutes of the game. Because this is basically background noise and background visuals, because it looks really pretty, while we talk about Ashes of Creation. My wizard spells, I just don't have the curses unlocked, and then also Bombarda. And then also the transformation. That's it. But I also did the thing where I played through the game, and I went through and collected all the stuff that I could. Oh, active ones? Oh shoot, these are all like these are all of the RP type things. Like there's a, yeah, it'll show over here. The knapsack so I can grab little pets. And then I have pet food, I have a pet brush. I got a light. But then I have these 12 right here are all combat spells. Right here, all combat. I freeze stuff, I float stuff so I can zap them in the air. I got fire, I got explosion. I gotta steal their wand out of their hand. I gotta make them flip upside down. I gotta push, I gotta pull. I got invisible, I gotta slash them in the air. And then this one, which just makes things float. So it's the oddball. Yeah, it does, Revis. That's what I do. I go exploring, I collect all the things, and that's how I end up doing, even right now. Like, I've done some catching up on the story quest, but if I were to go in here and look at this, required level 15, right? That's like, these are my 2 core story quests, level 15 for both. Do you see how this says I'm level 30 right here, and I'm about to click over to 31? Because I went through and just collected all the things everywhere that I could. I explored everything and went everywhere before I did the main story stuff. I think I would have preferred to do the main story stuff and then explore things around it as I needed to, but you know, I digress. Alright, Rocklaw, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for contributing to conversation, asking questions even. I really appreciate that. Questions make my brain hurt. And brain hurting means it's growing, right? Like no pain, no gain, or something like that. Is that how it works? Either way, you have yourself a great night. Rest well. I'm gonna probably start wrapping up here. Lloyd, $30 is also kind of wild when you think about currency rates across countries. I mean, 30 bucks is kind of wild when you think about it. But also think about the fact that it was $15 for Ultima Online 20 years ago. Oh wait, no, 26 years ago, because it was like 1997 or 96 when Ultima Online came out, and it was legitimately $12 to $15 for that subscription. Like that's so long ago. So the cost of MMORPGs has gone down, including inflation. Ultima Online was freaking amazing. It's still one of my favorite games. If they were to redo the graphics into like today's graphics and they kept it isometric, I would still probably play it. I don't enjoy isometric as much as I do like 3D. I can move my camera everywhere. But if it were still isometric, but it was Ultima Online, I would still probably play it right now, to be honest. Sorry for breaking the tamer class and having all the animals taken away. That's fine. I was never a tamer. I played around with like dex builds, and I tried magi builds and I just couldn't get into them. So dex builds were kind of my thing. I was the little bok guy with the little bok sword, like poofing it out of nowhere and popping people in the back of their head. Yeah, I was that guy for a minute. Never did get my Kirin mount. Made me sad. Oh my gosh. So, before I get caught up in reading all the chat, I love you folks, and you have some wonderful messages up there. I'm reading through them and I want to respond to a couple, but I do need to get going. I need to tap out. I gotta run away. I need food. But you guys are great. Thank you for hanging out with me, especially while I just meandered along. We had some great discussions on some Ashes features, and I think some fun info has come around. Hey, Onsington. So thank you guys for chatting with me, spending your time here. I'm going to look right now for somebody to raid. If you would like to guide the raid, please do feel free to punch that in. If not, I'm probably going to, let's see, who have I been stalking? I mean, lurking this entire time. Because I have many people I've been lurking. Let's see, I know there is a pocket. Is he doesn't look like he's going anywhere. Inoko, I don't know who that is. Okay, so I got dropped off on many people's doorsteps that I don't know. Oh, you want to visit a Wicca? Wicca's playing some Minecraft. You folks down for some Minecraft? Wicca Sloth is amazing. If you guys haven't met him, you need to. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll do some Wicca. Hey, look at that. The guide the raid was shoved through anyway. So I don't have a choice now. Whether I wanted to or not, I have no choice. It has been submitted. The word is so. The word is so. Alright. Let me get this started. I love you too. Doobie. Oh, I don't want to type in Wicca's chat. I want to type in this chat. Raid. Wicca Sloth. Oh no. Alright, let me try this again. There it is. Alright. Looks like it's good to me. See, not really, but you're down for some Wicca. Alright. That's fair enough. Well, thank you everybody for hanging out. Thank you so much for joining me. And you all have yourselves a wonderful Monday. I hope it goes amazingly for the last however many hours are in your day, because who knows what time zone you're in. Some of you who are joining were just waking up. Some of you are just going to bed. I'm among the going to bed soon crowd. But either way, thank you for your time. You have a great night. Catch you next time. Okay, love you. Bye.